All right, welcome to Lights Camera Barstool. Got Clemmer on today. We are going to be talking about a movie. And by the way, Clemmer has been on his own little movie quest. You're trying to reboot something you started right in the beginning of COVID, right? You're seeing.
That was different. That was at a theater near me, which is I go to the movie theater every single day for an entire year. I
Yeah.
then got COVID in April and then shut it down. But no, this is simply just going to see every movie on wide release this year.
Yeah.
Everything at 1,000 screens and more, I'm going to see, including other ones too. But yeah, just getting back on the movie horse again. It's been actually been pretty fun. Most movies I've seen have been pretty good.
You came dangerously close to having to see a Tollywood movie, which would have been a struggle, I think, for you.
Didn't want to see Game Changer.
Yeah.
That was luckily an only 800 screen, so I was saved from that. Maybe it's good, I don't know, but like I just know 3 hours long. I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to have to sit through
Same
Game
guy
Changer.
that did RRR, by the way. I'm pretty sure, Gooch.
Yes, it is correct. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
it might be good. I don't know. It was only in the theaters for one weekend though. I don't think it's in the theaters anymore, so it didn't really get like a full release.
I'm gonna be checking that one out. But before we get to any of that, let's talk about some news. We had a lot of pretty interesting news drop today. First being that John Bernthal got cast in The Odyssey. Already has a insanely stacked cast: Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Charlize Theron. 250 million plus budget. Everything about this, like this, feels like on the borderline too big to fail territory, where it's bust out your fucking Odyssey, you dork. You
What are we talking about?
it's in the too big to fail territory. I mean, Nolan is like the biggest unicorn in that. Again, he gets the trifecta every single time. He gets the box office, he gets the critical, and he gets the audience appeal. No director does it as consistently. Nobody. And adding that into this cast, like it feels insane. And I love Bernthal. Dude is a literal chameleon. He can play anything. He is supremely fucking talented. And I'm very interested to see what he plays in this movie, or just how this movie works. Because they also announced that Tom Holland is going to be the lead in this, and obviously he's too young.
Yeah.
He can't play in within the Odyssey. Odysseus is old, so like I don't know how that works for Tom Holland's sake. Because like I don't, if they want him to play his son, I don't love that. But and they, to focus on him, but I think maybe they have him play young Odysseus and Flash. I don't know,
Is
but
this all going to take place in like that time, or is it a more modern retelling of it?
I think it'll be that time, but because I mean, he's already kind of done the Odyssey with Interstellar.
predominantly,
I
yeah.
mean, it is very derivative, but I did see one theory that this will take place over the signature Nolan, two different timelines going at once, where it'll be Odysseus, but then his son Temecula
Mhm.
on the search for him, which would make it like a half and half movie between him and Damon.
Yeah.
I think that's what that has to be. Like I like Holland. There's no shot he's headlining this by himself.
Yeah, I don't buy that either. Still, we were kind of struggling to figure out how Tom Holland works as a outside of Marvel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a fair. This is a big one for him. Yeah, I'm just not thrilled at the I mean I read the Odyssey or tried to in high school. I was bored. I just don't really find stuff in that time period interesting at all. But I mean I love Nolan so much, so obviously I'm excited for it and going to give it a chance. And he's genius, so I'm sure he can make it work. I just the dialogue is I'm just that to me is just I was bummed when I saw that.
You're not a big fan of Troy?
No. I
Just
don't like I don't like that
Yeah.
stuff. It's just I think that the dialogue's weird and the characters are just not obviously not relatable at all, and it's just a disconnect. Anything before the 20th century, I find to be ugh.
Yeah. I mean,
wait, what's your favorite from that then? Like what is the ideal situation for you in that subgenre? The sword and sandal, the historical epic.
Yeah, I don't know if I have one, honestly. I really don't. I even Gladiator, I'm like, this is okay. It's just not for me. I just don't like. I'm always confused that people like it. I'm almost like, are people pretending they like this? Like, I almost think it's like they're faking it. Like, what is there to like about? Like, the dialogue's weird. The characters are strange. They're not. Like, to me, and I'm sure enough people enjoy it, so I get it. But I'm always like puzzled by it.
what's like the year cutoff? So like I'm assuming you like movies that are like in the 19th or 20th or century, but
20th
what's
century, I love. Let's go. Anything anything from Teddy Roosevelt on. I'm on board for it.
okay, Lincoln.
I didn't like the movie. I'll take Civil War stuff, I guess, but
Is
I'd
that say
rather
like Gone with the Wind?
what's that?
Gone with the Wind?
I mean, Gone with the Wind is a very interesting movie. I mean, it's 1939. It's an amazing piece of work, but like I don't think anyone's like I Gone with the Wind is not. Like I watched Gone with the Wind a couple years ago. It's an interesting movie, but I mean, it's also like to say it doesn't hold up. It's not really fair. It's 100 years old.
Yeah. How about
What
what's one that I
about
love that's very period PC is Master and Commander.
I haven't seen that yet.
That's a good ass movie.
oh,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah, that's a good ass movie. Great. That's
What
like
about
Russell Crowe in the middle of the peak of his powers.
Right. No,
what about like
it might just be a me thing. I'm sure it is, and I'm sure people are actually legitimately excited about the Odyssey. I just remember like when we read like no one liked it in school. Like the idea that like
that's
people are pretending they
that
like it now is kind of weird to me. I don't know.
that's different. You just hate the books that you read in school because you got to read them.
No, not always. Some were really good. I mean, some books I read in school, Odyssey was a chore.
I would say a majority of the ones that you read at least that I had to read in English class were not great. It was like Ethan's.
No, but that wasn't the worst of them.
I
The
preferred well,
Crucible was
I liked
tough.
history. Yeah,
Oh,
Crucible.
give me the Crucible over. Oh, I'd much
That's
rather
a
read the
cutoff. That's a
Crucible.
cutoff. Did you like the Crucible with Daniel Day-Lewis?
No, that's a bad movie. That's the movie's fault though. But
Right.
the Crucible book is much easier to read and get through than the Odyssey. Odyssey is
I'm
cool.
assuming that he's going to like Nolan will make this more
Yeah.
digestible from a dialogue standpoint. That's never been a problem with him. Like maybe from a temporal understanding standpoint, he doesn't have an issue with that. But I think the dialogue will be simple enough. I imagine
Temporal? Is this
temporal, as in like time.
is this a tenant reference?
It- Is that
A temporal
I completely forget what their dial or jargon
temporal
is.
pincer. A
Temporal
temporal
pincer.
pincer. It's cowboy shit.
Yeah. Next up we had
Also,
Robert Eggers and
also, do you think they're done, by the way, adding to this cast? I have to ask
No.
that.
nah,
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that we're looking at like maybe this
Gary
ends up
Oldman's
being
gonna
like
show
an
up
all-timer.
eventually. I think we're gonna have Gary Oldman. We're gonna have fucking like Michael Caine will be playing like Zeus or some shit. Like
The
we'll have
Cyclops.
yeah.
Michael Caine Cyclops.
Lost me other one. Like yeah, it'll be someone else adding into this. Robert Eggers' next movie is going to be a werewolf horror movie. Werewolf. It's spelled differently. I realize now that it doesn't really translate when I'm just saying it. It sounds exactly the same phonetically. Taking place in 13th century England. Me and Gooch both like Nosferatu. I didn't actually. I think I got your thoughts on it, Clemmer, unless you saw it.
Yeah, I
'Cause
didn't really.
It's,
I didn't really like it that much.
mm-hmm.
it's
That
in the
is.
cutoff
It's
zone.
in the cutoff zone. Yeah.
No, it's not. Well, that is part of it. The dial. Although I will say, like The Damned, for instance, which came out, no one saw it, which it didn't wasn't heavily marketed. I get all that. That to me was a much better movie. It's roughly the same time period
Mhm.
than Nosferatu. Nosferatu is much more beautiful, much more stunning to look at, and the world Eggers creates is much more like I don't say interesting, but like thrilling might be the more. Like he's
Okay.
amazing at building a set
Yeah.
and production
Production design is
design. It's
unbelievable.
incredible. But like the dialogue is not great. The story I thought was very thin. Like there's nothing that happened that you were really surprised or about. I mean, I don't know. To me there wasn't that much there.
I I'll say that that was one of my sort of issues with it was like I was waiting for a better his own spin on it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like because like we know the story, the general Dracula, Nosferatu. Like this story's been told a trillion times. So I was waiting for like that sort of like spin, and I don't think we totally got that. But that is like I don't know how much you can go off that. So or go off the off beat with that. But Werewolf, they're saying it will be old English dialogue. I don't know if that helps you or hurts you.
Me? It hurts me. I don't know. I'll see it because it's him, I guess, and he is the director du jour of some extent, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if some of the bloom is coming off the rose a little bit on him. With this one, where like I don't know. I think you have the Eggers fans who will. I wonder how much longer those follow him into this. I feel like there's a little bit of a cult think with this too. I don't know.
He's and
You
I'm
love him, right? Right, Gooch? You love Eggers? Am I wrong?
Yeah, I like him a lot. I mean, he's not like my favorite director working, but I do think no one else makes movies the way he does. Even just outside of the aesthetic of it and like the gothic macabre stuff. Like he just really knows how to build a set and build an atmosphere. And he's very stringent and dedicated to, like we were just talking about, the languages that people spoke at the time. Like go back to the Northman. He's working with the same writer he wrote
yeah,
the Northman with, who by the way has one name.
Sworn or something, right?
Yeah, I love that.
Cool.
But very dedicated to using, like in the Northman, he's using language from that time period. Nosferatu, language from that time period. Here he'll do the same, even down to like just the way they dress is so like meticulous. So yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of like what he brings to the table.
all the candles that they use. So, so you
Yeah.
imitate candlelight versus studio light. Like it's just, yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
dedication.
but I do think there is something to what Clemmer's saying where he's emerged from cult status. I think he's fully emerged now. I mean, Nosferatu made what? It's at
150.
$120 million dollars. Like it's a hit. Like it's a
Yes.
blockbuster. Uh, and some of that is just around like people going out to see the hot new director, I think. Will he still have that after Nosferatu, which I think a lot of the public was split on. I think a lot of people who watch a lot of movies really enjoyed it for the most part,
I don't
but I
even
think
know
the
that.
general
Think
public,
so? Like, even among movie people, I saw a bit of a
say it's about 80
like,
20.
hmm.
My kind of like assessment of Eggers is that like he doesn't have a lot of gray area in his fandom where like a lot of us can be like, hey, I like this director, but I didn't like this movie. Like I feel like most people were like, if you like one Eggers movie, you generally like all of them. Like but if you don't like one of his movies, you probably don't like any of them.
Yeah.
Like he's very consistent in that regard. And I do think there's probably some people that went to go see like Nosferatu was like their entry point into Eggers. They're like, oh, let me check out what this guy's got. Maybe I'll go watch The Lighthouse. And then they're like, oh, and maybe this isn't. Maybe I have some hesitations here.
Ooh. I was about to ask because I have no clue who should play the werewolf, who should play the Wolfman.
Great
But
question.
that reminds me, we got to get Pattinson back working with this man.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want him as the Wolfman though. I want someone.
Comes
Uh,
full circle. He goes from playing a vampire, getting his start as a vampire to a werewolf.
I don't know. I think I'd want someone like I want a beefy dad playing the vampire, not like we'll be talking about with Wolfman, the what do you call it? Movie that we're reviewing today
Oh,
with Christopher Abbott. But this I think for this Wolfman, you think you do want someone like because there's such a cool thing about like I think werewolves are super cool. And they
yes.
kind of have taken the back seat to vampires forever, especially when vampires got the revival in like the mid 2000s. Every piece of media, the werewolves were like lower in social stat. They were like the Robin to the Batman, no pun intended. They were like basically always secondary to them. And they were always like a joke or slaves or whatever. And like they deserve to be like at the same table as the vampires. And where vampires are like smooth and sexy and like hot and all that, like wolves, like werewolves are like these cursed, like beast diesel creatures. Like they deserve that level of respect. And they just don't really seem to get it. So kind of excited for this.
They
So
should they should recast Christopher Abbott. Let Christopher Abbott like
do it
be in a
again.
good one. Let him be in a good. Just let him be in a good movie.
Yeah. Poor fucking guy. You didn't see Craven, right, Clemmer?
I did not see Craven, no.
Man, Christopher Abbott in
Yeah,
that, he got a rough shake. Not his not I'm not gonna blame him for it, but he got a tough shake in that one. That was the counting man. What the fuck was his name?
counting. Oh,
Yeah,
He might need a new agent. I think Christopher Abbott needs a new
yeah.
representation.
yeah.
Speaking of, by the way, just here's a series that I think has the potential to be turbo ass. I mean turbo ass. Zero Day. They dropped the trailer for it. It's a new miniseries. In the midst of crisis, how can we discover truth when it seems that the world is destroyed by uncontrollable forces? Also, to what extent are conspiracy theories our own inventions or products of our imagination? Stars De Niro, Jesse Plemons, Lizzie Kaplan, Connie Britton, Angela Bassett, Matthew Modine, Dan Stevens, Bill Camp. It's created by Eric Newman, and this is where I get more hesitation in it because the whole
Okay.
movie is about like suspending habeas corpus and going after people's civil rights as like this ex-Trump president guy that's played by De Niro, who De Niro is obviously deep in the political weeds constantly, like very like mind fucked with it. And so the people that created this, it's Eric Newman who did Narcos, who good. After that, it's Noah Oppenheim who worked at NBC for a very long time as a writer, and then Mike Schmidt, who worked at New York Times covering politics as well. So this is created by two people that worked for like the sort of like left leaning liberal media machine making this series, and that really gives me hesitation because you kind of like I feel like we've gone past that. Like if this series came out in like 2016, it'd probably be like, yeah, well, like this is they're mind fucking. I feel like we're so past being interested in this sort of stuff, like this sort of like very no subtlety attack on political situations things. I think we're past that. So I feel like this has the real potential to be bad.
I was interested in the premise of it being like the idea of like a cyber attack hitting us and like how do we deal with that? Both from a political standpoint, but also from just like a society standpoint. Like how do we deal with that? But the more I'm seeing about this, the more reading about it, I think you're absolutely right, Kendrick. It's definitely more of like a political tone to it, which is disappointing. Also, the trailer is something like 2,000 people died or something like that. Like 2,000. That's I mean, not that's obviously very sad. That's not many people. Like if we're talking about if we're doing a movie and we're having this massive destruction thing happen, like this crazy thing happen, 2,000 people. I mean, that's not even a village. Like, what are we doing here? Like, wipe out some random city or something like that. If you're for dramatic effect,
That's like
that
reindeer games. In movie scale, it's totally different than real life scale. Then it's like
right.
it's more invested. Yeah.
And all like your imagination, you have no limit. Like you can do whatever you want. It's a movie. Like I was so that told me too when I saw the stakes were so low that all right, I guess this is going to be more much less about society how they react and much more about shame on you government, which I'm not really interested in watching.
Hmm.
Yeah, like you said, De Niro's brain is just fucking broken into shambles. I might be checked out on like everything he does for the next 5 years.
Oh, you won't be Gooch.
Alto Nights, baby, coming up.
You Alto Nights. If you're not excited for Alto, and when I say excited, I mean like this is going to watch a train wreck. This is going to be one of the great abject failures that any legend maybe has ever done. This looks horrific.
Hmm.
It's the nutty mafioso. It's like, what are we doing, De Niro? 90 years old doing a dual role. Like,
What
yeah,
is
like
Barry
I mean,
Levinson doing? What are we doing here? He's a great director, Rain Man. Like this is one of the
Hmm.
great directors. What are we doing?
it's one of those things that was like just sitting on a shelf for 15 years trying to get made, and like it just like everyone was just like finally like, fine, I'll fuck it, I'll do it, whatever.
Hmm.
I mean, it got filmed in. I don't know if you knew this, Glimmer. It was filmed in Cincinnati. They're recreating the New York
What?
City like grime with Cincinnati, Ohio.
Everything I hear, I did not know this. Everything I hear about this movie makes me want to see it more. I am so excited for Alto Nights. That might be like an opening night. We all have to go. That is a must.
All dressed. We have to be
Oh,
dressed the same in prosthetics. Like we all need to look exactly the same as our to try and mimic him. Man, I can't believe.
do you think people are gonna watch this series? Like,
Um,
it's
what?
probably gonna be number one, isn't it? For like a month
I don't know.
is the thing. Like, I say this shit about Netflix. And I'm like, what are they doing? And then I see their earnings call yesterday morning, and they're just,
They upped their
I mean,
price
like
too.
exponential growth still. Like, they've hacked the system. I don't blame these actors for going to work with them because they have all the money now, but God, they're just throwing some slop at the wall.
It's a
They're
good
lowering the
cast.
bar.
Yeah, I mean it's a good cast, right? Like
Yeah.
Great cast.
it's just like the showrunners is really what kind of gives me pause. Like having one guy who did, I now totally say Narcos is a great series. He did Narcos
Yeah.
Mexico too, which I didn't love as much, but he's a good showrunner. But then having that and then like two like not movie writers basically, like one of those guys. I think he wrote Jackie, and The Maze Runner. Yeah, no Oppenheimer wrote Jackie and The Maze Runner. Not like Jackie, solid
Is it,
movie. Maze Runner, there's nothing here that does anything. And then also, it's again just news people just
is it,
want to
is it
unplug.
based on a book? Is that how this Schmidt guy got a writing credit?
I'm not sure, but
I don't know.
maybe. But he's looked at as a showrunner, so I don't think so. It says like show created by,
Oh,
at least on Wiki. I don't know. But yeah, that has me a little bit more hesitant. But that's Zero Day. And then lastly, Ryan Gosling in talks to join Star Wars for Sean Levy's Star Wars movie. They don't know a lot about it. They don't know time period. They don't know much else. They're just saying it should be a one-off movie within the Star Wars universe, and it would star Ryan Gosling, and it's created by Sean Levy, who's been working on it for apparently a couple years now. Um, I know we're a little bit worried about like the sort of Marvelification process of Star Wars. I will say that number one, Ryan Gosling is just like he's effortlessly charming in everything he does. That is no doubt. And Sean Levy, I think in you can see throughout the example of his filmography, like he is completely capable of that too. Like even going like not even just like his recent stuff, like whatever Deadpool, Wolverine, all that stuff. You go back like even like Cheaper by the Dozen. Like this dude can do that. It's just I my worry is him going into Star Wars and with his recent track history, just over CGIing and relying on that, and which is something that I think wipes the charm out of Star Wars. One of the things I love so much about it is like you see puppets, you see goofy voices, you see that shit. That to me is like it gives me that warm feeling inside. Like when they did that shit in Mandalorian, and it felt like years since we had seen that, it felt great. So I just hope we see that out of Sean Levy and not like let's do Free Guy again, where it's Ryan Gosling doing big goofy CG blue screen effect bullshit. So I'm hesitant, but pretty excited to see Ryan Gosling as a Star Wars character.
you say wipe the charm away from Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars has been nothing but CGI, exception the first three movies and then The Mandalorian. So I mean, I think it's almost like hand in hand at this point. Ryan Gosling, I think is it's crazy. So I think Ryan Gosling is like really talented. I'm a big Ryan Gosling fan. I almost think in a bizarre way his career has kind of been underachieving in a strange, only because I have the expectations for him so high. Where like I think the sky is the limit. I think he's like that talented, and I think this is a perfect marriage where this is where he can really. I know obviously in Barbie was a blockbuster. I don't mean it like that, but like he can finally kind of. I know it's Star Wars, but this seems a perfect marriage where a guy that's kind of checked a lot of boxes as far as earning his stripes, now going to be in this major feature, excuse me, major franchise. I like this a lot.
Gooch is not a fan.
I,
That much I know.
yeah, no, just the creative team behind the scenes, which it can still be swapped out and probably canceled, just going based off
Their
the
recent
last
history.
10 the last 10 projects they've announced. Ryan Gosling in Star Wars, good. Weird spot in his career to be doing it, I feel like. He's like what, 50 years old now?
Ryan Gosling?
But yeah. What is he, 45?
No way, he's 50. He's got
50?
to be. I would guess he's like 39,
Oh, not as old then.
44.
Split the difference.
My age, I'm confident that he's my age. Jesus Christ.
But Levy,
I'm gonna go
Levy,
get
I
a drink of
don't.
water so I
Yeah.
don't die before Ryan Gosling does.
Yeah.
Levy, I do not want anywhere near Star Wars. I just don't. Like he's not a good enough director to take this on. And I'm surprised you didn't bring up the writer.
Who
You
was
see
the
who's
writer? I
writing
don't know off
it?
the top of my head. Who was it?
Jonathan Tropper, who you may know as the creator of Banshee and Warrior, your
So,
shows.
so
Um,
that is good and bad, I think, though. No, because like
I
it
I'd
depends on
rather
the
have
type of
him
movie.
directing.
It depends on the type of movie that they're making, right? We're like, if
Yeah.
they're going for goofball Star Wars stuff, that I think Levy's good for that. If you're going for like Andor level like intrigue, no. If you're going for a mainline trilogy, I don't think so either. But a one-off like sort of like old school charming Star Wars movie, I think you could do worse than Sean Levy.
Yeah, I guess it really does come down to what are they doing? Like
Yeah.
we know nothing about this. Like nothing. Not even a little bit.
It,
Um
and you can't be
if you
Jedi.
had if
It just can't be
uh,
Jedi. We got to be no Jedi in this movie. That's my another big thing here.
you can't make Gosling a Jedi.
No.
He's almost too handsome. Like you put a saber in his hand and you're like, this is just too much.
Yeah.
Um, a smuggler would be good. I'm very
Yeah.
excited
Oh
for
yeah.
his next space movie that'll come out before this, Project Hail Mary.
Yeah.
That'll
That's
be
supposed to go
pumped.
to
If you
crazy good
had,
book, right?
yeah, no, it's just The Martian mixed with Interstellar, basically. Written by the same guy who did The Martian. Um, if you had to choose between one of these two Star Wars movies, which would you pick? The Taika Waititi one or the Sean Levy one?
If I like had to pick one and one the other one goes forever, I think at this
Yeah.
point, I feel like Taika Waititi is like checked out. Like he
Yeah.
had one flop and was like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, what happened with him? Like after Jojo Rabbit, I'm like, this guy, here we go.
He
And
Right,
sniffed his own
right?
farts
Yes. Started
big
dating
time.
what's her name and just became sniffing his own farts, man. What's her name? Babe Russia? I forget her name. Who who's he been dating for
Baby
a while?
Rexa?
Isn't that who he's been dating for a while? I think.
I thought he's dating like Rita Ora or
Oh, you're right.
something.
It definitely is Rita Ora.
And they had
Um,
a threesome with Tessa Thompson allegedly,
yes.
really?
while filming Thor: Love and Thunder, which
Oh my
pretty cool,
goodness.
Yeah, he
allegedly.
definitely got lost in it. I think maybe a little bit of his own sauce after the success he got. But he used to be, I would say a lot
Well,
of
that
those,
now it makes sense based on what Gooch is reporting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I had to pick between the two, like right now, I would probably pick the Sean Levy one.
Okay.
You'd pick
Very
you,
similar. I mean, that's very fair. Like I think they both would bring a lot of the same stuff to the table.
yeah.
I think the Sean Levy one makes more sense for Star Wars as a franchise.
Yes, I would agree with that too. Especially like I don't know what you like. I'm trying the best of Taika Waititi in big budget is like Thor Ragnarok, which like that grafted onto Star Wars now. I don't know. I think that could work, but then like the peak of Sean Levy, I don't know. I'm trying to like rationalize in my head, but I think at the end of the day, I think I would prefer the
What does the Adam Project look like in Star Wars, grafted onto Star Wars?
I tell you what, I haven't I liked the Adam Project when I first watched it. I have not thought about it or even entertained rewatching it once since then. And
It
that's not
was
a,
it was fun.
yeah, it's not a knock against it. I liked it. That's not one where I'm dying to go watch it again. Okay, so that was news. Now we're going to do our review of The Old Wolf Man. A family at a remote farmhouse is attacked by an unseen animal, but as the night stretches on, the father begins to transform into something unrecognizable. Lee Wannell. Is it Wannell or Wannell? There's two N's.
Wano? Wano? Lee Wano?
It's definitely Lee, but Wannell or Wannell? I'm not sure. And Christopher Abbott and Julia Gardner are the big two names in it. Christopher Abbott, me and Gooch have been Chris Rabbit beaters for a long time. We think he's a very talented actor that's been gotten a tough. He's been like the Fassbender track recently, where it's just like he's the best part of very bad movies, or he's just like what he's
That's
stuck in
the
himself.
last time you should ever say Fassbender and Christopher Abbott in the same sentence.
Well, hey, no, I'm
I'm
saying he's in the
sorry. I
same
mean, it's like,
track. He's in the same track of this guy is
yeah,
talented.
they're not even the same planet. I mean, this is
I'm not saying talent
all
wise.
right.
I'm saying
All right.
they're on the same just on the same parallel tracks on different levels. How about that?
All right.
Um, but yeah, they we were both big Chris Rabbit guys. Julia Gardner, I'm like sure, like I think she was good in Ozark. I think she stunk in Inventing Anna and some other things I've seen her in. And also it felt weird because she felt like the age difference here was crazy for her to be like a mom, right?
I guess she's 30. So yeah, I completely agree. She's 30 in real life. I mean, she looks younger than that. But even if she's 30, I mean, she was 21 when she had this kid, which doesn't really make sense because this character reminds you over and over again she's a journalist.
Yes.
Very important for us to know that she even has no relevance at all in the plot.
None.
So if she's this journalist, I don't know how I don't know how she could have made it all work by 30, but maybe she's that powerful of a woman. So credit to you, Julie Garner's character in Werewolf.
Yes, absolutely.
Wolfman.
In Wolfman. Lee Lionel, he did Invisible Man, right? And
Yes,
Yeah.
with Moss.
Invisible Man, a movie we liked quite a bit when it came out. I remember we interviewed
And Upgrade.
yeah, an Upgrade which I liked a lot too. And that's a by the way, speaking of Upgrade, I don't know what Logan Marshall Green did to piss someone off, but like he was another guy where I was like, oh, this guy's got some juice to him, and then just was never in a movie again. He was in fucking the what was the airport security movie? Carry On. He was in that for like 2 seconds. I'm like,
I didn't even notice.
that's what I'm saying. And like he was in Upgrade, he was fantastic. And just never saw him again.
Lee
Uh,
Wannell co-created Saw. I mean, Lee Wannell knows
yeah.
horror.
Yeah. He's a guy that understands what he's doing, and this is something where he's going down the Universal Monsters list, I guess, for going from Invisible Man to Wolfman. I wonder which man is next. What is there another man that I'm missing? There's
Huh.
Man,
Question.
Man Monster.
Universal Monsters.
you
Yeah,
could do a
there's.
Jekyll and Hyde. You could do Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Remember the Hollow Man? The Hollow Man?
No, I
Hollow
was
Man
looking
was
for a
Kevin
man.
Bacon, the
Kevin
Invisible
Bacon.
Man.
I just
Yeah.
saw that when I was scrolling on Prime the other day, and I was just like, all I remember about this movie is that he plays an invisible rapist. That's the only
Yes,
thing I can remember about
that's
the
what it
movie.
was. Yes.
Uh, But yeah, so Wolfman, this is a movie where like I would say higher expectations because Invisible Man, they were on the floor. I'm like, I don't know how the fuck you do this and it be successful. Like nothing, like it just I don't get it. And then I really liked it. So I was like, okay, Wolfman, let's fucking do it. And again, I'm a guy that likes werewolves, so I expected it to be at a certain level. There are parts of this movie that I think look really cool. Some of the jump scares and moments, we mentioned them from the trailer too. I think they play well within the movie. This movie just doesn't really, I would say on a whole, work for me in like, I think the pacing's kind of off. I kind of think that there's too many moving parts going on. There's just like I think the best thing, and this is something that I think Invisible Man did really well. It's like you focus in on like Monster and like one or two people, and this is like, hey, the Wolfman's got his dad that actually did this stuff back in Oregon. This lady's a journalist. He's got me meeting these guys that run this militia, and or like there's just too much shit going on, and I think that hurts the movie a lot. But when you get to like the stuff that's the bare bones, like here's werewolf chasing people hiding in house, that stuff works. But other than that, kind of disappointed by Wolfman.
This movie stinks. This is more than a kind disappointment. This movie is awful. We have wolfmen who were in the woods for years still wearing clothes. We have one scene, I swear to God, we have Julia Garner, the daughter, and a wolfman carrying jumper cables. That actually happens in this movie. This movie is such a piece of shit. Don't see this movie. Go see One of Them Days, which is actually a really fun, comedy that does exactly what you expect it to do and with flying colors. That is a much better movie. This movie is, I'm so glad this movie is tanking at the box office. This movie is a disaster. Dead on arrival. Didn't even crack the top, I don't barely cracked top 3 for the weekend, I think. This is a mess. This movie stinks. Christopher Abbott's bad in it. Julia Garner somehow is worse. You don't care about these people. Christopher Abbott's character is so stupid in this movie that when he was a kid, he thought his house was the only house not on the power grid, but it was the whole town. How does a kid not know that? They don't talk about that at school, on the fucking power grid. Nothing makes any sense. This movie is stupid. Stay away.
Big time hater. I like that. Me and Gooch, when we're trying to hate something, you should try and give a little bit of credit somewhere. Nothing from Clemmer. Gooch.
No, I feel a lot of the same way, but I will try to give it credit in spots. I think it looks okay in spots. Like the creature design is bad. I think we can all agree on that. I don't think I've seen one person. I don't think that design has any shooters.
No.
But I think it looks okay at points.
Some
But
of
yeah,
the
no,
POV,
this is
some of the POV stuff in the werewolf was cool. I'll give you that.
Night
the
vision.
biggest the biggest issue is it's just boring as shit.
Yeah.
So fucking boring. And when it's not boring, it's stupid. Um, it telegraphs everything it's trying to say a lot, by the way. It has a lot of themes it wants to throw at you about, fatherhood, the relationship to your parents, generational trauma, gender roles, and it doesn't really try to hide any of these. It's just like, here it is. Um, it gives it to you at a third grade reading level, and it's grating. Yeah, I did not enjoy this really at all, and it's something I was looking forward to because I love Upgrade, to be honest. Really love it. Invisible Man, also good. This is just such a fall off a cliff in terms of quality between those two to here. I wonder if he got just had to do it. They just were like, "This is on our shelf. Please do it for us," because it almost feels like no one wants to be here. No one.
Yeah.
The From the actors to the people shooting it behind the scenes to, I mean, the person who wrote the script, the direction, it's all so half-hearted. Like it's just half-assed. Bad movie. Deserves to be third on the box office this weekend. Like Clemmer said, go check out One of Them Days.
Yeah.
Kiki Palmer and SZA.
It's so funny. They took the fun out of the werewolf, the interesting part. So to me, the interesting part of a werewolf is full moon comes. He turns into a werewolf. He does horrible things. But then when dayfall comes, you now have to live with the things that you've done.
Exactly.
And it's a lot of, what is a werewolf? It have to do with addiction. Does it mean what we do when we maybe drink too much and have to pay that price when you wake up? Whatever it is, whatever your correlate is to Wolfman, what is, that to real life. That's the part of Wolfman that's the interesting part, the human part. Mm-hmm. That doesn't exist here. There's no full moon element here. There's no turning back here. It might as well be a zombie movie. It's because he gets infected. They even say that movie, he's infected.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the werewolf. This has nothing at all to do with being a wolf man. It's just simply that's what he becomes, kind of. This is just such a failure on so many levels. The only thing I disagree with Gooch is that I actually wasn't as bored as him because I was laughing. By the third act, I was openly laughing at this movie. It was funny. I was entertained. This is, I think, a really good mystery science 2000 movie. If you're home with your friends, it comes on at 1 a.m. and you had a couple of drinks, watch this. It's fun to laugh at. These people are dumb as shit. Has a really short runtime. You can laugh at these people and then call it a day.
What's Mike Nelson up to these days in that crew?
I don't know.
Good question. I used to love Mystery Science.
Joel Hodgson was my guy, the first guy. That's the original. But I love that show. But this isn't a perfect movie for it. Movie that takes itself way too seriously. Like Gooch said, trying to have all these things about fatherhood and generational trauma. It couldn't be less subtle if they tried.
Yeah, it really was missing that whole transformation back thing. I can't get over that.
Within the first 10 minutes of the movie, they show it's the flashback scene where his dad kind of yells at him. He's like, listen to me. And then 2 minutes later, it's Christopher Abbott on the streets of New York yelling at his daughter the same way. It's like, I wonder what this movie's trying to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I wrong? Maybe I'm old. That dad wasn't even that out of line yelling at us because kid's being an idiot. No. He's hunting with his kid. His kid runs off in the woods. Yeah, stay with me. You could get fucking shot.
Yeah.
No
also,
shit.
How does he grow up and not have? He has zero survival skills.
None.
None. He grew up on a fucking farm in the middle of nowhere with his military
with a militiaman dad. Yeah.
Apparently he learned nothing.
He also too. there was already a rumor in the 90s. This is the movie opens Oregon in the 90s. There's a rumor going around there's a wolf man in the woods. You still take your kid hunting when you
Yeah.
know there's a wolf man running around?
Hmm.
I hope, like, if you spend any time at all thinking about what's going on, you'll realize they have no idea. They just threw stuff together. And you're exactly right, too, about no one wanted to be there. These people could not look more miserable if they tried.
Yeah. I do think the lack of transformation thing is really bugging me now. The more you talk, when you after you mentioned it, like the total lack of like, because that is such a big part. It's like a curse. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
not an infection. It's a curse on a person. And like that transformation back and being having that regret is so huge. And you miss that. He's like having that realization in real time as a beast man. And I think that something that really, and you want to talk about laugh, I got a real out loud laugh out of me. The scene where they like, whatever spoilers, the scene where they shoot him and it's like he pops over the thing in daylight. It's like laugh out loud funny how fucking stupid he looks. Like
Oh,
like it looks so fucking dumb, dude. It's so bad.
and then they have the daughter sit next to the wolfman as he dies. What if he scratches her even
Yeah,
accidentally?
just
Now she's a wolf. You would keep your kid far away from him. Nothing makes any sense in this movie. It is so awful. It's really, it's,
They love each other so much. Can't you tell? Couldn't you
oh,
tell that Christopher Abbott and Julia Garner love each other and definitely have touched each other before? Like,
yes. Hey, Gooch, read my mind. Read my mind.
oh
What am
my
I saying?
God.
Dude, it was a struggle. And I'm definitely I think the more we talk about liking it less and less. I was trying to give it some credit because like again,
Why?
there are some cool things that they do, you know what I mean? But it just there's a majority of it's bad. And I'll stand by that and I do think that
Did you guys like the Wolfman realm? Like when it would be his POV?
yeah.
It was like
Dude,
just the blue neon, like
dude, I kind of like the night vision like POV stuff. I didn't think that was
The first two times I did. The eighth time it kind of wore on me. But
yeah.
I
oh,
did give him credit. Like this is something new. But I think back to like Teen Wolf. I know Teen Wolf is kind of a goofy movie and like it
I
didn't
love
know
Teen
it's
Wolf.
goofy, whatever. But even that character has to live with the fact that he's
Yeah.
the Wolfman. He's this arrogant guy and now has to come to terms with that. So like I don't know, like that's interesting.
Man,
I
you
don't
want to talk about a horrifying transformation. The Teen Wolf one is that
I
like
mean,
turns your stomach.
that's
when
tough.
his dad comes to the bathroom, we
All,
gotta
all,
talk.
all puffy.
So that's Wolfman. Now we're gonna do a quick draft of movie beasts, movie monsters. We'll say 5 picks each. I think that should be enough, right? There are a lot to pick from. I think the way that you could draft it whatever way you want. The way I'm gonna go for it is which one revolted me the most. So not necessarily the creature that is the best or most iconic. I'm gonna go for which ones I'm like I saw that on screen. I'm like that is a monster. That is a like I am horrified by this being. And I'm not saying you have to draft that way. That's just how I'm personally going to go about it. Let me see if I can share a screen so I can just show you guys what we're picking. All right. So, Clemmer, you have our first pick of the draft. Any movie monster that you want.
Okay, I'm gonna go with my 1-1, my favorite of all time, obviously in the spot, Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger to me is he's entertaining, he's funny, he's scary, he gets you in your dreams, and like we're also helpless and vulnerable when we sleep, and we all need to sleep. Such a great premise that Wes Craven had. I think it's delivered perfectly by Robert Englund when he played the role. I think Freddy Krueger is to me the ultimate, by far, monster in any movie.
Hmm. The claws always freaked me out, and I always loved getting them in Halloween time because like something about like having like the things are so fucking cool. The weird thing that always disarmed me because I watched it obviously, well, not obviously. I watched it when I was older than this scaring age, I guess. Like I watched it when I was like in my 20s,
Oh, all right.
and so I watched it and I was like, the only thing that disarms me is this the goofy hat and sweater disarmed me. But then when he was doing the actual dream shit, I was like, this is horrifying, like because there was nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Yeah. So Freddy Krueger off the board, Gooch.
Oh, that kills me. God, he was top of my draft board.
Freddie
Just kidding,
K.
not on my board. Number one overall pick, what should have been the Xenomorph from
Mm.
Alien, the Alien franchise. It's the perfect predator.
Krueger wasn't on your board?
Fuck no. He's
I don't,
goofy.
not goofy, scary.
Goofy as hell. Come hang out in my dreams. He wouldn't last a minute. But the Xenomorph is just cool as fuck. H.R. Geiger design, Ridley Scott bring it to life, and for the most part, they've kept them. I'd say like what 5 out of the 7 movies. It's been mechanical, which is always a big plus in these monster departments.
Yeah.
Something about the switch over from CGI to practical or the practical to CGI, it loses a lot of the scariness.
Dude, like
Just looks
all of it,
fake.
all of it.
Yeah.
And I think the mouth coming out of the mouth, that's something where like you read that on paper, I'm like, that's not gonna work. And it is horrifying.
Mhm. Oh
Horrifying.
yeah.
You've seen the second mouth for the first time. The
Dude, he's
acid.
fucking like spit. His spit will just burn right through you.
Yeah.
Which amazing scene in Alien Romulus when that happened.
Yeah, that was really cool. Really well done in that movie. By the way, it's funny just the way that Disney Plus works now. I know you can just have kid accounts, but like scrolling on Disney Plus and seeing Alien Romulus is one of the top like banner things. You know what I mean? It's like just imagine being a kid and being like, "Oh, let me click this button and watch Alien Romulus on Disney Plus." It's funny. All right, so I have back-to-back picks. I'll just go with the thing straight off the bat. I can't believe it even made it to me. I'm ecstatic about that because the
Yeah.
thing I think is one of the most revolting and horrifying creatures. And every I know I pick the thing in every horror related draft I can. If you watched any of them, but the thing is horrifying. Every iteration of it, every different version of it, whether it's the little spider thing or it's the head popping off the guy, every version of the thing is revoltingly disgusting and vile and gross. And I hated it, and I hated the noise it made. John Carpenter, just an absolute fucking genius at what he did. And I don't know how you feel about it actually, Kush, but I know Clemmer, you really like the thing, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love. It's not the monster I love it's the paranoia.
Mm,
That to me is what sets the thing apart. The monster to me is the paranoia. I think that's like the monster itself to me doesn't really. I it's fine, but I just love how when they all turn on each other. That
yeah.
to me is the oh shit. It's a great movie. It's a one of the greatest movies of that. Maybe you could even say one of the greatest movies of the 80s. Not even horror movies, but like one of the
Uh,
greatest movies of the 80s. Can like it's definitely the top 40, right? It's got to
Pure
be.
isolation, pure everything. And like I remember reading about it once, like Carpenter, they wanted to shoot it all in a studio. And he was like, absolutely not. Like we are going to a location and we are making a village and we are blowing it up at the end. Like it's fucking crazy. I love him, man. But that's so scary. Also, the hands, that didn't scare you? The hands going into the mouth and ripping them off. That horrified me the first time I saw it. Yeah. I don't know. So the thing, I'll back to back it with another movie from the same era. I'll just do The Fly.
Oh, you bastard.
Yeah, I mean, The Fly is that's another just absolutely disgusting creature, which like Jeff Goldblum at the time, handsome, I mean, still is, but handsome man, and just what he turns into, like over the course of the metamorphosis or whatever, is so fucking gross. I hated it.
The Fly is such a great movie. It's a very short runtime, if I remember correctly. It's really efficiently done. It never takes a breath. You're because Goldblum is such a warm character, like I think actor, and so is Gina Davis too. But you're so like connected to them, and like you want that you root for them so badly. You know that things are not going well, but you care so much about them,
Yeah,
and yet you're scared. It is such a great movie. These are two of the best movies of the 80s, I think, right there. They're tough to top.
yeah, I love. It's a great movie, and just every time I see that sopping wet like ooze shit coming off of it, it's oh fucking gross. Gooch, you're back up.
Hmm. Might be readjusting my draft strategy based on the direction you guys are going in. You know what?
Go
No,
anywhere you
fuck it.
want. Yeah,
I'm sticking with
Yeah,
it. I'm taking Godzilla.
yeah, you
Fucking
should.
that's a
Godzilla.
great pick.
Give me Godzilla. He's got a million movies. On
Which
the
one? You got. I think
graphic,
you got to pick a version.
the version I'm going to go with for this would be Shin Godzilla. I think by
Yeah,
far the most terrifying version of Godzilla. I mean, he's just crawling on the ground, his guts everywhere.
the mouth
And
opening
he, he's
style.
he's just a legit like force of nature in that one, like
Yeah.
just wrecking the countryside. The one in -1 is also terrifying because he's like out to actually just get people. He's like targeting people,
Murder.
but there's like a golden retriever quality to his face that makes him more amicable. But Godzilla's iconic for a reason. One of the OGs. I love him. I really do. And I wish more of his movies were actually good, like not just like fun good. And more of his movies were in the vein of the Shin Godzillas, where it's legit terrifying. It makes you think.
The way his mouth opens during the atomic breath is so it
Yeah.
freaked me out the first time I saw it. Like it opens up in four quadrants, like just
Mhm.
disgusting. And that's a good scene too. Their atomic breath scene was, I think, maybe the best, even better than -1. Uh,
Yeah.
Clemmer, you have back to back.
I'm gonna go with Michael Myers, Halloween. The idea of this kid that is crazy enough to kill, be put institutionalized, break out of institution, and now he's looking for revenge and is borderline superhuman, depending on how many Halloween movies you watch in a row. Um, that's pretty terrifying. Him and that mask and just what he's capable of, and basically, Donald Pleasance. Yeah, that guy. Right. Yeah, SNL. So I married an axe murderer, right?
Yeah.
So the idea that that guy is kind of waiting for you is pretty good stuff. Like what does Donald Pleasance say? Like he's his eyes are like he's evil. He's that there's no compassion, there's no sympathy there. He's just evil being.
He's
Um,
unstoppable too. Like you can't do anything to stop him at all.
yeah, I think Michael Myers is that's it. That William Shatner mask too is just terrifying. And then the other one I'm gonna go with is Pennywise.
Which
Um,
one?
the
Original?
I think I guess if I had to pick one, that's tough. I guess I would go with the Tim Curry, the
Yeah.
original. I guess it's tough. I mean, both are really scary. I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time even distinguishing between the two to some extent. They both did such a great job. Tim Curry, because there's just less effects, so he's more like personable and more just evil in that way. But then the other Pennywise, what they did was Andy Muschietti. What he did with the effects there, are incredible. And Skarsgård was a great villain. So I don't know. Pennywise is very scary. Chasing after these kids, poor Derry, Maine. That's good stuff.
Yeah. That's true. I always forget that. I don't know why I would forget that, but two big time Maine guys. You and
Well, I'm New Hampshire, but yes.
wait, I thought you lived in Maine at one point. Am I crazy?
Nope, never. I love Maine. Maine's amazing. The
Oh, maybe
coast of
that
Maine
was it.
is fantastic. I was close enough. I could walk. I had one apartment where I could walk to Maine. I was
Mm.
that close.
Okay, so Mike Myers and Pennywise off the board. Gucci back up.
Hmm. This probably I could wait on, but I really want it, so I'm not going to leave it up to chance. I'm taking that fucking spaceship from Nope. Fucking
Huh.
terrifying.
That's good. That's a good pick.
Yeah, the Nope spaceship. It's a riff on Jaws, more or less, but more modern. I'm sorry, Clemmer, but the Jaws shark is not the scariest part to me of Jaws.
It's kind of not supposed to be.
Yeah, this is legit like horrifying. Like when they get sucked up into that fucking like that is one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen put on screen. It's so claustrophobic. I don't know. It just itches a part of my brain that does not want to be itched.
Hmm.
Um, Horrifying. And I need Peel back in my life. Let's just put it that way.
Hmm.
Um, Love the spaceship from Nope. Feel how you want to feel about Nope, but I don't think anyone can deny that that spaceship was fucking terrifying.
Wasn't even the scariest part of Nope. Terrible pick.
What?
What was the
Yeah,
scariest part?
that monkey.
Yeah,
Monkey's pretty
damn. That was a
scary.
scary ass monkey. That was a
That was a
horrifying
lot.
monkey.
That's where I
Did
think
you,
Nope kind of missed it there, where they had the wrong A and B story. Like
Hmm.
that monkey running around that sitcom set. That was terror. Yeah. The spaceship to me, I felt was a little bit of a kind of a little fart, a little quiet fart wasn't enough.
Ooh, quiet fart. I
Quiet
nah,
thought
fart.
I thought the monkey scene where like everything's dead quiet and all you hear is just like the monkey breathing is
That is
horrifying shit.
scary shit. That to me was that's the real
Yeah.
oomph of Nope.
Yeah, that was a good ass scene. Um, all right, I'm back up with back-to-back picks. I will do first. I kind of just want to pick like, unless you guys would object to it because you would want the other ones. It's just like the crew of Hellraiser, like the trio of Hellraiser, where it's like the fucking I don't even know what you would. They have names. I know like big time Hellraiser fans. Like what would you call them? Crew? Like his little dude, his beaters, or I don't even want to call them. Oh God, they're so vile. I'll just put them on screen. Dude, they're just disgusting. Like, look at that. So Hellraiser, obviously there. I don't know what you call that guy, but this dude with like the no lips and mouth thing really freaks me the fuck out. So I would just say like the Hellraiser crew in general, would be my next pick. I hated that movie so much. Everything about it, the scene where like the hooks come out and like rip the dude's like skin off, like everything about that movie really freaks me the fuck out. So I'd go with Hellraiser. I don't know. You guys?
never seen it.
Nope, I haven't either.
Yeah,
Too
no,
scary.
don't
Too
watch it.
scary for me.
Don't watch it. And then I think I would do next. I think I would do the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers. Really got me. That's a movie I watched like way too young because I think it came out in like 2002 and I was 9. And when I watched it, and that movie really it scared the ever loving shit out of me, like really really badly, and it like haunted my nightmares for years after it came out. And like he's just kind of like a creepy looking dude with like this big duster and all that shit in the hat. But then like when you first see him, like in his like face comes apart into like this big webbing of like disgusting fleshy mess. Really fucked me up. So I'd go with the creeper from Jeepers Creepers. That's another one. I'm not even sure if you got it would register on your guys' radar, but that one really.
Saw it in college. I haven't seen it since.
Let's see, the creeper.
Oh, that's a good pick. I
Uh,
would like to note we've not picked a single Universal monster.
no, they have not made the
Uh,
list. Oh
they've
God,
lost the juice.
so fucking gross, dude. But yeah, so creeper off the list. Gooch, your pick.
Let's see here. See, a lot of these left just aren't scary on my board, but I do like them.
Again, you don't have to pick
I
necessarily
think like
scary.
yeah. I mean nothing's really scary if you think about it. I
Yeah,
mean,
they're all fake. They're not real.
so yeah.
Are you sure? I'm gonna take the fucking Kraken. I'm gonna take the
Which one?
Kraken from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm.
Just badass as fuck. It's so cool. It's
Yeah,
so cool.
it is it's scary. I actually think the Kraken from Clash of the Titans is pretty scary too. The one with Sam Worthington. That was not
Dude, I'm not even talking scary. I just want to hang out with this guy. I don't want to be the one to release the Kraken.
to
I
release the
think that is like
Kraken.
one of the coolest things you can have as a pet. It's the Kraken.
They haven't done more, and I know they've done like the Megs and like the Abysses of the world, but like I'm surprised they haven't done more really scary underwater movies. And there was literally the movie Underwater, which wasn't scary with Kristen Stewart, right? Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, they should make more because like giant octopuses are scary shit. Like that is horrifying.
You should make the Abyss too.
I love the Abyss. I'm a big time Abyss defender because I know people hate or not high on the Abyss. I think it's cool. I think it's the aliens or whatever, but I think the actual concept, the general concept of the Abyss is really cool.
Concept is cool. Ed Harris is good. The movie itself is not good, but the effects are so incredible for its time and it's so revolutionary. You have to. I respect the Abyss. I don't like it. If that makes any sense.
I still don't know how they did the amniotic fluid thing, where like they drown the rat but it lives. No idea.
But yeah, no, like the movie is very impressive. I just think as a movie, the effects, there's parts of it I think are very impressive. The Cameron stuff's impressive. The Cameron, other Cameron stuff is not.
Yeah,
Ed Harris will never work with Cameron again because of that movie.
Yes.
yeah. I mean,
Very funny.
By the way, he has a
understandable.
movie that keeps getting shelved. Have you guys seen this? Like the best
Ooh.
my dead best friend. It's about this woman in the military whose friend died in the military and she has PTSD and keeps imagining she's there. And then Morgan Freeman plays like a crisis counselor, and Ed Harris I think plays this woman's father, and it keeps getting moved. I saw a trailer for it a couple weeks ago, and I think it got pushed again. And I think it doesn't even have a release date anymore.
Merritt must
Hmm.
try to be socially present while also being with the ghost of her dead best friend, my dead friend Zoe,
Yes, I'm sorry, that's what it's called. Yes.
by Kyle Houseman Stokes.
And it keeps getting pushed.
Very interesting. Why does it keep being pushed? It got like
And
an
Ed Harris in the trailer, very mad, very angry about things.
100% on Rotten with 17 reviews, 7.9 out of 10 on Metacritic. Damn. I mean, people seem to like it.
I don't
Nice.
know. I mean, I'd watch it. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I'll check that out. I love Ed Harris too. I'm a big Ed
Me
Harris.
too. Big Ed Harris fan.
Yeah, I texted you guys the other day. I was watching The Rock. He's unbelievable in that.
He's really good.
Yeah. He's good in everything. I don't think there's ever been a movie where I'm like, wow, Ed Harris fucked that
No.
up. Like
He was so good in season 1 of Westworld.
yeah, man.
Ugh, so
Oh,
good.
he's amazing. You know who he's really good in, which I think deserves a lot more credit too, is History of Violence. I think he was unbelievable.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, Ken Jack. He was fantastic.
Dude,
Uh,
Love Lies Bleeding last year.
yeah.
Unreal.
Oh, the
Unreal
skullet,
role.
right? The skullet.
Yeah.
Uh, so Clemmer, your last two picks.
Okay. Gonna go with Predator here.
Mm.
Cool stuff with the see from his perspective, and Predator also laughs a little bit. I think Predator has a little bit of sense of humor. Seems like very like a dark sense of humor. He seems to laugh at someone's misfortune. That's kind of funny. You gotta like that. And then you know what? I'm gonna go with the universal monster here, and I'm gonna go with the werewolf, not Wolfman, but the werewolf. The werewolf is like for all the reasons we said, having to rectify what you've done. The fact that you're cursed, you did nothing wrong. You're cursed here, and you have to live with what you've done every month. Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff.
Which werewolf? I think that is important for this part of it because there's plenty of bad werewolves.
I know. I
Jacob.
feel like most are bad. It's almost
Yeah.
it's almost like I like the premise of the werewolf better than the werewolf itself. Maybe like the American Werewolf in London.
That's what I was gonna say. If I was to pick one, that would
I think
probably be.
that's like the most like because Teen Wolf's too goofy.
Yeah,
Remember Wolf with Jack Nicholson? That wasn't a good movie. Wolfman with Benicio del Toro was a bad movie.
yeah.
This one we just this from this week was
Bad.
horrible.
Let's see. Best like the ones in like Underworld kind of stunk. The one in
The one in Twilight stinks.
that was terrible. The one in Van Helsing was really bad. Best
They
looking
keep fucking it up, and I think that and Jekyll and Hyde are easy, I think, to do because it's
Jekyll and
like
Hyde also
duality of
really
man.
yeah. Jekyll and Hyde also in Van Helsing and also done very poorly.
Like why that should be a layup.
It's
It's
so
the
easy. And this should be like an
easiest thing to
actor's
do.
that should be like an actor's dream, right?
Yes.
Like that type of role. Let's see. Which werewolves do they think are the best? See if I can
Yeah, Teen Wolf.
so let me see if I can get this into the frame correctly. From Ginger Snaps to Harry Potter, 10 best movie werewolves. Teen Wolf number 10. Okay.
That's crazy.
That's
Ooh.
I don't know what that is. That's
Not familiar either, I don't think.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Come on. Above Teen Wolf? Are you fucking
Collider. Come
serious?
on,
Oh,
Collider.
come
What are we
on. What are
doing?
we doing here? Clickbait.
The
I don't know
wolf.
what that means. I
Yeah,
said
it actually looks
clickbait.
kind of cool.
Here we go. A little Larry Talbot action.
Let's see. Wolfen. I don't think I know that one either. Okay. That one looks too goofy.
Yeah.
No, that's not making the mix here. Yeah, let's see. I
That's
think this
that's
is yeah.
that's I think the answer. I think.
Lupin
He
was kind of
was
scary in Harry
he
Potter.
was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty
Yeah,
good.
if
But it
you're
was all CGI, and that loses its kind of like I feel like the kind of the scare of a werewolf to me is seeing
I
being
don't think you guys
twisted.
would be scared if you watch that now.
Yeah,
For
that's true.
sure.
But yeah, it's just worth taking a look. So we're gonna go with the American Werewolf in London as your last pick, Gooch.
Hmm. I'm gonna take fuck it. Let's go with the Balrog. Balrog's fucking metal. He's cool as shit. Lord of the Rings. Fuck you, Climmer. Balrog is awesome.
The
He's cool.
breathing, the whip, the
He's
yeah.
literally the fire from within. He's been there longer than anyone. They awoke something deep in the mountain, something dark and sinister.
It is a really cool like lore to the Balrog, where it's like they were imprisoned within the mountains, and people like when you get too greedy, essentially you unleash
Yep.
this thing which genocides your people because of your greed. And like the scene where like you don't know what the Balrog is yet. Like in Lord of the Rings, like you just hear Gandalf saying like we got to get the fuck out of here now, and you just hear like the drums and you hear like the breathing, and then you finally see him like step out, hot stepper, literally like fucking bam bam, and he just like kind of like bears his chest out and he's like, "That's fucking me, bitch," and just like pulls out the sword and the whip. It's scary, man.
Dude, he's like the coolest. It's one of the cooler designs ever, too. Like he just looks like straight up the devil.
Yeah, like horrifying, horrifying devil. Which it makes me like wish that like the Lord of the Rings series did more with that because like there were battles between like hundreds of Balrogs and people. Like that should have been. We should have seen that shit. So the Balrog's up. I get the last pick. There are a couple, and I can throw out, I guess, some now that are on my list. The shark from Jaws, I think, deserves a mention, but it is kind of like it's not the shark as so much like the feeling of like dread and anxiety that you feel on that boat and being like, I
Hmm.
don't know, I can't get out of here, I can't escape. I think the Pale Man from Pan's Labyrinth was very scary with like the fucking eyes on his
Oh yeah,
head.
the poems. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's up there. Shelob from Lord of the Rings scared me, I think, more than like
That
anything.
was also like I was deliberating between those two.
Spiders in general, I hate spiders. So big ass spider that just when he sneaks up on Frodo and like fucking like stabs him in the gut with the stinger, just oh. I think what I'll go with though is one that scared me a lot as a kid. I'll put it in right now. The motherfucking Rancor.
Ooh,
The
yeah.
Rancor in Star Wars in Return of the Jedi scared me a lot. Just something about like the size of him and the big ass teeth and like the practical effect of like his like the drool coming off of his mouth and like the scene where he like just crunches that bone in half. Oh, like oh, it really and like when he swallows that little pig man whole too. Like the Rancor really it scared me. It was the scariest thing of Star Wars to me. So no,
Yeah, no. Rancor was on my list for sure.
yeah, I was.
We never said Jason from Friday the 13th.
It's weird because and this was my issue with the same thing with Myers, where it's like it is a monster, but at the same time a person. Where like I tried to get as inhuman as I could, I guess. But Jason, I would say is about as monster, especially in the later iterations, definitely a monster.
We never said Dracula or vampire.
I don't know
Dracula would have been the one I would have picked, I think.
That probably would have been next on my
which
list.
Dracula though.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah, oh yeah, with the armor.
Yeah,
Trying to think of like which one would even be would register as like I'm scared by this. You know what I mean? Like I'm never even
that's true. That's kind of their thing is like they're seductive. Like you're kind of like, this
yeah.
guy's kind of cool.
Great monster.
You guys aren't like. I think you guys are like a little nostalgia vision here, like with the Rancor Balrog. You guys aren't scared of him now. Like you guys wouldn't watch that and be scared of this thing.
I don't think so,
No, like I
but
said, I think he's cool as
So then you
fuck.
can't. But then you can't hold. You know what I'm saying? Then you're. So when you say I'm not scared of Jason Voorhees, like you're also really
no,
not
no,
scared.
I'm definitely scared of Jason Voorhees. Make no question about it. It's just like the visage of him as a person versus a monster. You know what I mean? That was my sort of hang up on it. And the same thing with Michael Myers. Like it would have made my list, but I'm like, he's definitely a monster. He's like this fucking unstoppable killing machine. But like anything that's too human to me was kind of tough for me to negotiate. Which is kind of like I had the same issue with the Fly, but when I'm seeing this like, later transformation, he's disgusting and nothing close to a human. Anything else in your guys' honorable mentions?
Yeah, I had Kong. Thought about rounding that out in the
Never
top
scary
two.
to me. It was just big monkey.
He's become less scary in recent years, but I think the
Yeah.
older adaptations really captured kind of his like just animalistic side. Now he's more of like a sidekick. Like he's just like one of the human characters almost, which takes away quite a bit. Like Dan Stevens operating on him just makes him a buddy.
Yeah.
The Monstars
Nice.
from Space Jam. They got the short end of the stick. They really didn't want to be there. They were forced to dance like little monkeys in a cage.
Hmm.
The skeleton bear from Annihilation. That is actually terrifying.
Ooh, yeah, that was
That
really
is
scary.
horrifying, but that's almost too niche. The aliens from Edge of Tomorrow, I think, are one of the better recent monster
Yeah.
designs. The what are they called?
Like there's something with time, right? Because that was their
Yeah, like
thing.
blips or something. I can't remember. Very scary. And then
Yeah.
Shelob, like we said.
Yeah. Clemmer, you have any other ones?
No, I think that's it. Yeah. No, I think back. My childhood was the '80s, and for me, it was the big three of like Jason, Freddy, and Michael Myers. They kind of like dominated the being scary, even though you think like The Fly came out and The Thing came out. But when you're a little kid, you're more scared of those big monsters than you are. I think as an adult is when you're more scared of the paranoia with The Thing or
Yeah.
the self destruction of The Fly hit harder.
You know, we didn't have any zombies or anything either, which I guess could play back into the human thing, but like zombies are scary. There's like layers to that where like it's people like someone you once knew that is now a zombie, or you could do even like the fucking 28 days later type of zombies if you wanted to. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But isn't it more about the destruction of society than the zombie itself? It's the fact that we all turn on each other. The real monsters are us, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I guess so. And there's no like, there's not many like singular zombie. You know what I mean? It's more
Yeah.
like you're scared of a horde of zombies. You're not scared of like, oh, that one zombie character. You know what I mean? Maybe like Bub from which one was it? Day of the Dead? The like the trained zombie, but he wasn't even that scary. Damn, I don't know. Leprechaun maybe could have made it. Leprechaun was pretty scary.
Like
Yeah.
we would never have on this list, but like Jack Torrance to me is scarier than anybody else on this list.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was horrifying. I think if looking through for some other ones
Yeah. No, I'm thinking through. I mean,
like Candyman. Society was a
it's
gross.
tough. It's tough for me for the humans to
Yeah,
put them into the monster
I know.
category.
That's why I didn't.
Candyman gets closer for sure.
Ooh, what about I forget what the character's name was, but in The Last Crusade, the guy that drinks the wrong cup and gets fucking sucked into a skeleton. Once he
Oh
st-
yeah.
once he starts the transformation, that was one that horrified me a lot as a kid. Oh, damn, Tusk. That was so scary. Where he turned or what's his name into like a literal fucking walrus. Damn, that
Was
was
it Elijah Wood? Is that right? No.
no, it's Justin
Who's in
Long,
it?
I think. Right? It was Justin. He turns Justin Long
Justin
into it.
Long. That's what it,
Yeah.
you're right. Yep. 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 Yep.
Yeah, Videodrome could have had something on there. Evil, like Evil Dead, Slither probably. Yeah, that could have made it. I don't know, but I don't know. It's a good list. So our full list again: Freddy Krueger, Mike Myers, original Pennywise, Predator, and the American Werewolf in London for Clemmer. Xenomorph, Shin Godzilla, the spaceship from Nope, the Kraken from Pirates of the Caribbean, and the Balrog for Gooch. For me, The Thing, The Fly, Hellraiser, Jeepers Creepers, The Creeper, and Rancor. Pretty good list, I think. I think we got some pretty fucking scary monsters in there. I think if we're looking pure, I don't know what people will vote for. I think it depends on how we title it. if it's because if we title scariest monsters, it might be different than best monsters. It might be better than iconic monsters, or like I don't know.
What did you say in your text to me or the email? What is the
I think I
email?
said I
It
want to
goes
say
best.
the best monsters, which makes me think that Gooch has good potential having Xenomorph Godzilla back to back. And also you have good potential Freddy Krueger, Mike Myers, but
I
people
think
might
I think Clemmer takes this no matter how we slice it, to be honest.
Predator, yeah, Pennywise, yeah. I think Clever might
I
win this.
never do well in these, so don't. You guys have a better chance, you think. I always do poorly in these pools.
Well, we'll see soon. Until then, we will see you guys next week. Next week should be I can't remember off the top of my head.
We got what's coming out? Oh, you know what's coming out? You all need a pilot.
You only that's right, Friday.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it reminds me. I think I will if I'm free Friday, I'm gonna go see that with you.
You can join, yeah, me and I want to go. And then there's a Soderbergh movie coming out this weekend too.
Presence.
It's like
Yep.
from I think from the POV of a ghost. Is
Yeah,
the
Presence. And
trailer made it look?
So
apparently very good.
It's only like $1.20 too. Super short runtime. I think I'm trying to see that on Sunday. But yeah, there's a couple interesting ones that I'm really curious to see how Flight Plan does, especially like in the box office. Because one of them days, really good word of mouth, fun movie. Gooch and I both seem like we both liked it a lot.
Mhm.
That I think will have some carryover, but I think there is a ceiling for how well that's going to do. And I wonder if Flight Plan can go in and kind of blow the doors off stuff. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
I'm excited. I just can't wait to see him playing. I feel like I've missed this side of Mark Wahlberg for a while. You know what I mean? Like he's been
Does he still sell tickets, do you think? Is he still bankable? I don't know.
different crowd than he used to, but
yeah.
yes, I think so.
Like if you're like a middle America fucking whatever, like you're going to see a Mark Wahlberg movie if it's like an action
Yeah.
movie for sure. But like if he's
I think
making
so, right?
If he's making Father Stew, you're maybe not going to go see it. But yeah, if he's making a big action movie, sure, I don't see why not. He he's one of the funniest Instagrams in the world. You go and look at his Instagram. It's just him promoting his horrible clothing brand, Municipal, and being like, "Gotta stay prayed up. It's Sunday. Gotta stay prayed up, y'all. Gotta flash
Straight
my
up.
Municipal fucking clothing." It's like. All right, Marky. But yeah, let's do flight plan for next week. Very, very excited to see. Again, when's the last time Marky Mark played like a true blue, like a villain? Like, it feels like it's been a while, hasn't it?
I mean, I don't want to go all the way back, but what's the movie with Reese Witherspoon? Fear.
Fear, yeah.
He's a bad guy there. What's yeah, right. Like what's he and he was a really good bad guy in that. He's scary as hell in that.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mark Wahlberg making his 28-year villain streak way more exciting.
Oh,
28 years it's been since he played a villain?
That brings us to 96. That's around the time of Fear.
Dude, that's sickening. That's sickening it took that long for that to happen. But yeah, either way, excited for that. But we will see you guys next week.